Okay, broads, before we dive into another oh my gosh, WTF, holy wow episode, we have to remind you all about one of our favorite companies. The holidays are right around the corner, and after this year, I think you deserve to give yourself a gift, okay? It's been a tough year, and maybe one of those gifts you want to give yourself is that dream smile situation. You want to look like Bennett with those perfect teeth, but we have the answer for you. It's Candid's clear aligners.
My favorite Christmas gifts are the ones I give myself.
Agreed.
Right?
Same.
Well, Candid is the best. They're clear, comfortable, prescribed, and monitored by a licensed orthodontist, and the average Candid treatment is just 6 months. You'll start seeing results way before then, and the price is right with Candid. It costs literally thousands less than braces.
Start straightening your teeth today. Right now, broads can save $25 on Candid's starter kit. Go to candidco.com/chatty and use code chatty. That's candidco.com/chatty, code chatty. Take advantage of this limited time offer to save $75 on your starter kit. candidco.com/chatty, code chatty.
And welcome to another episode of Chatty Broads with Becca and Jess.
Our voices sound so crisp today.
I know,
I'm really loving it.
I know. Oh my God. Hello, Becca. You have a fresh new haircut that I'm living for. It's very cute on you. I like the color. I like the bangs. I like the length.
Thank you.
I'm kind of attracted to you right now.
I like your glasses, and I like your necklaces, and I like your...
Thank you. I figured I was trying to look like a... Thank you. I was trying to look like a therapist today because I felt like after this episode, we all need therapy.
Definitely.
So 100%. I was trying to put that
100%.
energy out into the universe.
I bet Claire would have brought her therapist had it not been COVID.
I think maybe Honey the dog is her therapist.
It's so funny because she keeps dropping throughout the episodes, like, I've done the work. And I'm like, sweetie, I think you have a little more. We all do. Listen, God knows. God knows.
We all know. God bless. God bless. But like, oh man, I mean, wow. So we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
First and foremost, there's like tea we have to discuss
and then
get into the episode.
Me with tea, so I'm really
love to tease you with tea. Okay, so first of all, we saw that Clare reposted our podcast episode with the caption, yes, 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 if you haven't seen this on our Instagram. And then her response in the DMs was that we got everything right. Thank you so much.
And then it sort of made me wonder. I'm like, wait, did she just listen to the first like 20 minutes when we were defending her and Dale thing? Or did I wonder, like, is she saying like we hit everything?
I mean, this is just...
I want to believe
this
that
is a
we
guess,
got everything right.
But I'm imagining if I saw a caption for a podcast that said Dale and Clare did not meet, and then the other caption was we're heated, that you would probably want to listen to the whole thing. Also, I know she was getting a lot of shit because of the strip dodgeball game and people saying that she... So I would imagine she listened to the whole thing, which, by the way, we had some broads message us and say, now that Clare listens, are you guys going to not? I'm like, listen, we do this every time. We find out that one of the contestants is listening. We never change our opinion nor don't say the same things. Because at the end of the day, Clare listened to that episode, and though we defended her in some ways, we also...
Oh, we definitely talk shit. Like, I mean, that's not going to stop.
Please no. We're never going to change.
People always ask that. Like, just stop.
I mean, but I get it, though. I'd think that, too.
I get it, too. But it's like, I actually have realized that a lot of people... in Bachelor Nation, like the leads or the people, they listen to it.
Of course they do.
So, I mean,
if I was a lead, I would listen to
that,
every single podcast episode about me.
So it's like us knowing that, you'd think, I mean, if that was the case, we'd kind of have to cater to everyone because everyone listens to the podcast. Just kidding. But
no, but like even smaller Bachelor podcasts, I think like in general, if I was a contestant, I would be listening to every Bachelor and Bachelorette podcast, even like the podcasts that get 2 listens. I'd be like, I'm listening to everything because I want to know everyone's opinion.
Yeah, I
don't care about just some of the, the ABC style podcasts. I want to know what the people think. Tell me what the people think.
Then you really have to go see a therapist after that. I listened to a couple podcast episodes and I was like, wow. Where do I find a hitman on Craigslist? I've got to take out these podcasters and their families. And then go to years and years upsetting.
I could. Yeah. I mean, the fact of the matter is, if I was on this show, I would well, first of all,
help.
I couldn't listen. I wouldn't go listen to podcasts. I would have to promise myself before I wouldn't listen to podcasts. I wouldn't go on Reddit. I would like get an assistant for my social media once it got past like episode 2 to
Honestly,
like go
that
through
would be
the
a good
DMs
idea.
and just be like, I can't read this because it's just too much all at once.
I know we've talked about doing that. Honestly, like it's still a good idea, but
Anyways,
what's the tea?
So here's the tea. Clare did go on a liking spree of tweets involving production for one. So she's breadcrumbing us. You know what I mean? She's like, here's the trail back. We're going to be on the same page. We have like clear confirmation at this point that Tayshia was on set, like days before the ending of Clare and however this is going to end.
Crazy.
So they knew what was coming. She was liking tweets that basically were saying that she was liking all these tweets that said Tayshia quarantined 9 days after Clare started filming. They wanted to remove Clare. She was liking all these tweets. I really feel like they gave her a bad edit. Just my opinion. This is from Maritu. I don't know how to pronounce. I don't want to butcher the name. They're feeding into the narrative and rumors and making it seem like it was Clare's decision that this ended, and I feel like it's not the case. Her season is off. All the sound bites. She's liking all this stuff. Okay. And then Charlene, I believe from Nick's season, the opera singer. She has a recap blog.
Yeah,
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see it. Like she was showing the different audio clips that were edited.
And they are very franken-bited together.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so edited. It's
I mean, look, when we're gonna get into
to know what is true and what has been tampered by production this season. A level of tampering is out of control.
It's just, I think it always happens, but I think it's so very blatantly obvious this season. And as we go through this episode, it was just time and time again, I was writing down like, production was doing this, or, producers were telling this person this. And like, it just feels like so heavy-handed. But at this point, they don't give a fuck because they're going to switch it over to Tayshia and like
That's
whatever.
True. And you know what? It doesn't matter because we're all going to keep watching.
Yeah.
Because we are on the edge of our seats.
And more people probably will tune in.
I think so. People are going to want to know what happens, the transition.
Yeah.
The other big thing that was like the huge drama was the day after Clare had the episode, someone posted the photo of Clare at prom.
Oh my God.
So you know how Clare...
This is so stupid. This is low key, like, which I am kind of embarrassed to participate in. This is sort of like the Victoria F, like, skydiving thing. And it's just
which we were heavily involved in.
Yes.
You live and you learn.
Okay, that one was a little crazy.
That was
one is a little
though.
different.
She said, I've never been skydiving ever. Like, she was like, I'm so scared of heights. Boom, skydiving.
So someone posted like, oh, here's my husband took Clare to prom. And then Clare responded back and was basically like, there are other dances other than prom. I moved to a new school my senior year and I did not go to prom.
Yes. And everyone was posting like prom gate, all this stuff. Now, I will say Clare's response, I was like, Clare,
just don't
respond. I mean, like, or respond, but it was very much, she said, you do know that there are more dances in high school that are not prom. Turns out it's just someone digging up old photos. Why she keeps her husband's old dance pics, I'm not sure, with one of those like weird faces. And I was like, I keep all of our photos.
Like, all you have to do is go to your in-laws' house.
Yeah,
and,
like, you keep all those. But she's irritated.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening, because we got this DM from so many people, I just wanted to say this. I have two opinions on the matter. One, no shade to Clare, not calling her out in this way, but I would imagine probably Clare was not popular.
Yeah.
And probably went to dances. And in the conversation, it kind of was one of those like pretty girls who's like, I wasn't cool at school. And you're like, yeah, but you were not cool. You know what I mean? And so I bet it was one of those things where it's like, hey, Jason was having a moment with you where he was like, I wasn't cool in school. And it was like, I wasn't either. I didn't go.
Yeah.
And so you did go to dances. But turns out what ended up happening is that the initial poster, the wife, came on and apologized, deleted the account or deleted the photo, went private, because Clare then said, I went to a new school senior year and in fact did not go to prom, just like I said. And then the fan put out an apology and she said, I would like to say I misunderstood. Clare did not go to prom with my husband. It was another dance and I apologize for my error. So that's that.
I mean, she did do something. So, you know, she probably just got bombarded by like hate from it and didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a fucking lesson, honestly, is that if you're going to come for someone like that, you got to understand how it feels like to have thousands of people coming after you for something. So that's
true.
kind of a fucking lesson. Understand what that feels like.
Also, it's definitely one of those, hey, just a reminder, you got to double check before you put something out there, because you just have to make sure, triple check with your husband and his family to be like, so you're sure this was senior prom?
Well, and also like, look, this is my take on it. High school can be really rough for people. Yeah. I loved it, but
I was thriving.
Honestly, I peaked in high school, but like your perception versus how other people perceive your experience is obviously so different. So like for her, she may have had friends, but may have felt anxious and isolated and felt like she didn't fit in regardless of like, you know, how things appeared. So
you know what? You're right.
Right. I think of it like this. Like I had a really tough time when my first couple years of college and I was like really depressed, and in my own reality, it was like some of the worst years of my life. And I felt like I had absolutely no friends and no one. And like some people may have seen me out at like frat parties chatting it up with everyone and been like, oh, she was confident and like super secure and like everyone liked, I mean, I would hope people would say these things about me, but you know, it's just an example of like in my perception,
you don't
totally
know.
Different.
You don't know. Yeah, at my school there was a lot of wealthy people, and I didn't have a horse and designer purses. So
look,
so I was
for real. That was how my junior high private school experience was. But I think the point that I also am, and you will see this reflected throughout this episode. I am really giving Clare the benefit of the doubt because I just feel like she is being painted so poorly, and I feel like like a lot of people are not really going to like her after the season is done.
I agree.
So I'm kind of like trying real hard to defend her.
Yes. No, I hear you on that one for sure. And this clearly, you know, people are going to be like, well, it was still a dance. But now that the person publicly came out and apologized and said this was not her this was not prom, this was not her senior prom, I think you got to like, you know, just let Clare be. Yep. There's also tea about YOSEF, but we can talk about that when we get to the YOSEF part. Let's get there. All right. So this episode, definitely, I will say I enjoyed this episode a lot more than I've enjoyed the past two.
Me too. I actually meant to watch it. Like I was going to split up the time and take a little break, and I actually couldn't.
No,
I watched
you couldn't put it down, right? Yeah, it was finally like this episode. Granted, it still feels weird. It still feels different and off. But at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, it's getting here. We're starting to peak. We're getting rolling. Which, by the way, reminds me kind of Colton's season. Remember the first two episodes? We were like, this is so boring. Yes. We hate this. And then it just, you know, the season just got really fun to watch. Okay,
we'll get to this when we get to it, but also I just want to say overall, it was really bizarre to me to watch the dates this time, which was basically the exact stuff that we were saying they should have done the first week. Like the dates were fine. They felt normal.
They felt totally
they
normal.
Had guests.
Yeah.
Why was the first week so bizarre? Were they just trying to break her that first week?
Maybe.
Like
they were just like, we're going to put you in the most uncomfy situations ever and see what works.
Because like the dates, the sets were great. They had Margaret Cho.
Yeah. Like unless of course it was like the first week was kind of workshop together because it was like, okay, we don't really know what we're doing.
Can we do these certain things because of COVID restrictions?
But it felt way more like a normal season when it comes to the dates.
But that was bizarre to see those two contrasted and like, okay, this week this week was fine. Okay. Anyway, we started the cocktail party.
And you know, we right away see Yosef is
he's ready to confront her.
He hates her so much.
I was going to say, Jess, you were completely right. He despises her.
He hates her.
He hates her.
It's like, why does he hate her so much?
You were so right. I was watching this and I'm like, oh my God, what did she do to him and his family and his daughter?
I'm like, are you are you sent by someone? Did she,
Right, is this a hitman situation?
Did her great-grandfather kill your great-grandfather?
He's like trying to avenge something.
There's some sort of vengeance plot going on. It makes no sense. He is so angry.
When he sits her down.
I couldn't believe it, Becca. I could not believe what I was watching. Everybody was like, dude, you got to calm down a little bit. Even beforehand, when they were all sitting together and he was just like, she's the oldest bachelorette. She's supposed to be the most mature. It's classless. She's classless. Blah, 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 blah.
It's like right in the beginning of their conversation, I don't remember exactly what was said, but she sort of like was like, oh, I'm sorry. And like it literally could have ended there. And then he was like, well, honestly, you're a horrible person. Is kind of how that went.
He went in, by the way, before he sat her down, he said, I'm going to tell her how I feel and wash my hands of this atrocity. It's like we watched the strip dodgeball game.
You weren't on the date.
You weren't on it. Also, did we come for the date? Yes. Did we think it was inappropriate? Yes. But the way that you're responding is like, it's absurd. And he, like you said, when he first sits down, there's been a lot of red flags about you. I've had to sacrifice a lot to be here because of my daughter. And then Claire immediately goes, well, I get it. My mom's dying.
I felt like that was so justified.
Bitch, you tell him.
Seriously.
You shut this man down. You shut him down.
I know. She was like, yeah, I'm giving up time with and that I felt like really proved the point of like, yes, I'm here for the right reasons or whatever. I'm literally giving up time with my mother who is like on her deathbed, whatever.
I would also love to have a conversation with the other parent, and if there is one in this situation, maybe the mother, and see like, oh, how often? Yeah.
What's the custody situation? Every other weekend.
Okay. All right. So you're okay.
Watch him have like full custody and we're just douchebags.
But he's just so
he was so rude, so aggressive. After she says like my mom is dying, he literally goes, let me continue. Like dismisses it. He's like, all right, I've still got more to say. And you're like,
I'm like, have you guys had maybe 10 minutes worth of conversations? You don't know each other.
Okay, this was I don't want to get people mad about this, but so he talked about how he was absolutely appalled at the group date, which goes hand in hand, like you were saying, about washing his hands of the atrocity, as if this is like a massacre that he couldn't believe that Claire was involved in or some shit.
Yes.
And then I was like, wait a second. Is YOSEF jealous that he wasn't on the group date? Am I sensing some sort of like weird jealousy thing that he wasn't surrounded by all these other naked men?
Interesting. See, I was more taking it like maybe has certain insecurities and so he was releasing them.
Regardless, I feel like he has some like really scary, like suppressed sexual energy. Like there's something really not right.
Well, you're gonna hear about the tea with YOSEF after we discuss this.
Are we going to talk about, is it something other than the TikTok girl or is the TikTok girl?
It's the TikTok girl, but she's done many videos at this point.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And then he said, well, she goes, that's why you weren't on the date. And he goes, well, I'm glad I wasn't on it. And it's like,
it's like, okay, but what are you talking about?
And then he has to push it further. He goes,
and by the way, at this point, Claire is doing, I mean, brava.
She actually really is doing a pretty good job.
She is sitting there, still with a smile on her face, and he's telling her that she's all these red flags. He's appalled. Like, he's shutting her down about her mother, and she's going like, okay, I hear you. I hear you. Okay, I hear you. Like, she is taking it in strides. She is taking it in strides. She's not shutting him down.
I would have been like, excuse me, who do you think you are? Please.
Oh, I would have broken the fourth wall and been like, it was production.
Or I would have been like, come here. Yeah. Someone get in. Yeah, totally though.
Bring in something.
Well, so after he says like, well, I'm glad I wasn't on the date. He straight up takes it to, I'm ashamed to be associated with you. You're a bad example to my daughter. Like,
I expect a lot more from the oldest bachelorette that's ever been. He, by the way, adds in that's ever been like a real knife in the stomach.
The oldest bachelorette that's ever been, as if she's 85 years old. or 180. What?
When he said that you're not the type of example I want to set for my daughter, you're not setting the right example for my child.
That was just so mean. That's what was bizarre.
So mean.
That's what was bizarre about this conversation, is that she was not giving him any fuel for his fire.
Nothing.
And yet he was like just stoking his own flames higher and higher.
He reminded me of like a troll IRL. Like someone who trolls a famous person, says wildly outrageous things, but in real life they would never say that. YOSEF does it in real life.
Yeah, 100%.
I've never seen someone just come for someone for no, I mean,
it's like,
no
right.
reason.
It's like in the DM and she's not replying, and like the person just keeps sending something horrible and then something more horrible and something more horrible.
Yes.
Like
to finally get an interaction.
Yeah.
Yes. Except he does that from the get.
And he was waiting until, of course, eventually, you know, she has to pull the whole shit where she's like, I've listened to you for 20 minutes, and he keeps trying to fucking cut her off. He's like, will you let me talk? Will you let me talk? It's like,
she's like, I just listened to you talk for 30.
She's giving you the stage for an hour and a half.
You know the switch that flipped, because we all knew that's going to be the switch. And by the way, Riley was right. Riley, he nailed it. He called her crazy. And it was like, this is listen, you are beating her over the head with your words, all about like her being a bad example. You're appalled. You're ashamed.
Last episode or the one
last
before where
episode.
We called up her crazy?
Last episode.
Okay, well then, bless you, Claire.
But we clarified what it was. We meant more like dance on the. We clarified. We meant like dance on the table, energy. Maybe, you know, yell with one of your friends when you get drunk, even though she doesn't drink. That type of. That's what we were talking about. But we knew that that's what was going to happen if he did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was the wrong choice because, yeah, she finally had enough. And when he interrupted her, then she like was like, absolutely.
Dude,
no.
It actually freaked me out watching this whole scene. Once again, pretty much happens every fucking episode of The Bachelorette, where I'm like, stop putting like abusers on the show.
Correct.
This is so scary. Like, he was disgusting. His behavior was so repulsive.
I think, Becca, and this is a big statement that I'm about to make. Now, granted, I've been out of practice with some of the other seasons for a minute, but maybe my least favorite person I've seen on the show ever.
I have to say, Goose was my least favorite ever. I don't know if you remember him on Becca's season.
I was in and out on that.
There was something
Becca's
about him on that season. It was... On that season, he pulled the whole like, well, why aren't you putting in effort for me? Why aren't you? And that I just like could not handle the gaslighting that he was doing. And I think that it just really even made it worse for me when he was somehow redeemed by marrying Crystal, even though he had been a shitty person for 2 seasons.
Yeah, that was wild. That was wild. And now,
anyway.
but I think on the show too, I'm, you know, obviously discounting some of these other people who have been on who have longer storylines, like a Luke P or a Garrett, who we have a storyline now for afterwards. But
Luke P hasn't really done any social media shit.
Well, that's because he's getting sued for $100,000 by the Bachelor franchise. They're suing him
for coming out and telling his side before contract was up. Mm-hmm. That's fucked up. Yep. Like I'm sorry. I'm going to defend him on that. That's fucked up. I don't think that's right. I'm standing behind Luke P on that one. Like, really, as if they need the $100,000 for him. Give me a fucking break.
That's just someone strong arming. Like,
that's wrong.
I think what they're using
Luke P as an example, as a threat, because they know that people won't feel bad for Luke P.
Mm-hmm. If they were to do it to someone who came out and was like, no, this is my story, hear me out, and they were like a liked person on the show, ABC would get so much shit for doing that, or the Bachelor franchise. But with Luke, they're like, oh, no one's going to care about him.
I know. When I talked about production stuff before my contract was up, I got a cease and desist, and then they wouldn't let me do any more interviews, and now they won't let me have people on the show. But obviously, if they had sued me, it could have been not obvious. I shouldn't say obviously. That sounds conceited. But like, it would have been, I would have gone fucking nuts.
Are you kidding me? You would have been like, all right, Instagram army.
Rise up.
What's your demo? What's your follower demo?
My isn't it like 92% female between the age of 18 and like 34?
I just picture that, just a ton of them, just a barricade on the ABC lot, and they're like, Martina. pass.
I mean, the example would be, I was just being a fucking dumbass. They have every right to do what they did to me. I didn't even get a bad edit, and I just decided to spill production tea about everyone else. I'm just like, let me tell you guys the true story about the whole season. Like, that's just so obnoxious on my part.
Let me give you the scoop.
But that's the thing. And then I put myself in Luke P's shoes, and there was that tea about, Hannah on the hometown date saying I'm not going to use a fantasy suite for sex and all that. I can so understand on his part being like, I must clear the record. And then they're like, silence. So I feel bad for him.
I just am also imagining
start a GoFundMe.
I was about to say, I'm imagining all the villains of Bachelor Nation being like, let's start a quiet GoFundMe for Luke P.
Chad and Josh Murray join hands.
They bring Yosef in. They're like, please, son.
Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya. On Zoom.
Oh, they would definitely meet in person without masks. Let's be honest.
A
There's
group
no
of like
Zoom.
35. Oh man.
Anyways, yes. Point is that Yosef is potentially my least favorite person immediately on the show.
Very scary.
So scary.
This is what's scary is that these people will do this stuff on camera. That's what terrifies me about this.
Yes.
Is if this is what people will do on camera, what are they doing off camera?
Wild. Well,
What is his profession?
Medical sales, I believe. I could be off on that one. I apologize if that's wrong, but I'm pretty sure
That's a good guess.
Yeah.
That or personal trainer.
I mean, you can see him going into like a medical sales office because you're supposed to be like, you're gonna be like handsome or gorgeous to do it. And like, he's a handsome guy, and him coming in and being like, do you want to check out this heart rate monitor? Maybe I'll take you out on a date and yell at you later.
Oh my God. And berate you and emotionally abuse you. Verbally.
Okay, can we talk about the tea?
Yeah.
So, Yosef, there was a girl on TikTok.
This season's truth shark,
Yes,
if you
the
will.
season's truth shark. But she didn't name drop him. Everyone just started to assume. People could assume who it was. And she basically said
Good for her, keeping herself out of legal liability.
I know, killing it. And also, by the way, weaving a tale, like on TikTok, doing like, I'll do a part 2 and like making us wait. And we're just all waiting on Twitter. It's just like, is she going to post today? I need a part 5. She's doing it. I mean,
give me the Spark Notes version. I watched the first one.
Okay, Spark Notes version is that it definitely seems like Tyler C that got kicked off week 1 was correct about Yosef sliding into the DMs.
Sorry, everything smells like skunk. My water bottle smells like skunk. That's tragic.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I'll survive.
So yeah, he Tyler C was right. He sounds like he slides into random girls' DMs.
Okay.
He slid into her DM. It wasn't like he didn't slide in and go like, hey, hot stuff. He tried to like start a conversation with her. So apparently they, over the coming weeks, started to DM, lovey-dovey, FaceTime, all that stuff back and forth, to the point where she's posting all of the things and you see.
Yes.
And they're doing like TikTok things together and whatever. Very lovey-dovey. And then he finally says like, hey, I'd love to come out and see you. Like he had a business trip or something and he was going to be out that way. And he's like, I'd like to spend some time with you. They meet up the first night. I guess he's acting. She didn't like how he was acting. He was being really, really weird. She said he got drunk and it felt very like not like how he was. Yeah. So then she went home the next day. They spent the day together. He was not drunk. And she said it was great. She's like, we had a great time. It was like a different person, blah, 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 blah. They hung out. And then she left and was going to come back to see him at nighttime. She's like, do you want me to come back at night? Do you want me to come back at night? I believe she's a mom and she was going back home. And, but it was like his hotel was an hour away from her place. Mm-hmm. So she kept asking, confirming, okay, if I'm going to drive out here, are you sure you want me to come? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, yes, yes, yes. So apparently she drives. She's calling him outside of his hotel for like hours. He never picks up, even though they've been talking constantly. Mm-hmm. So then she eventually just goes back to her house. She gets a text from him at 3 a.m. and he's like, I'm so sorry. I fell asleep on my chair and I was asleep the whole time. And she's just like, fuck you. What? No, this is ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. And they kind of got into it about that. They then were okay for a minute. And then something like the next day or the following day, he sends her a Snapchat that he 100% meant to send to someone else, where he was jerking off to the other girl and saying things that are expletive, and I don't know if I want to say them.
Do you think he accidentally sent it to her?
I don't know, because after seeing this, part of me starting to have curiosity.
Doesn't matter either way, it's horrible, but I just wonder if
he sends it to her. She obviously is like, what the hell? And then immediately after he accidentally sends it to her, deletes everything and blocks her on Snapchat. So I don't think it was necessarily an accident. I don't know.
It doesn't sound like it.
Blocks her on Snapchat. And then they're going back and forth, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. And then he starts viewing and she's like, shuts him down. She's like, I'm done with you, whatever. And then he starts viewing all of her stuff on his dog's Instagram page, which then she posted. So basically the point is this. Is there anything illegal that's happening? No. It just seems like, this is the type of guy, like Tyler C. was saying. He was right the whole time. The lawyer was right. He just went about it the wrong way. That he's the type of dude who's sliding into girls' DMs, by accident sending the wrong girls pictures of him jerking off and saying expletives, and
Disgusting.
He's coming at Claire about being classless.
Let's
and
have
a bad example
of
for his
silence
daughter.
for Tyler C. Thank you, Tyler C., for your contribution.
Thank you. We apologize for doubting you.
Okay, so anyway.
Also, maybe Tyler C. will come back for Tayshia. He's
good idea.
Cute, and I liked that he, his little
maybe he'll come
Lincoln
back for
lawyer vibes.
Paradise in 2023 or whatever.
Yeah, maybe. Him and YOSEF. Yeah, YOSEF definitely bought a spot on Paradise. That's for sure. He'll be back. Trust and believe.
Who do I hate more, him or Leo? Tough call. They should all hang out. They should definitely all get together.
Oh, definitely him and Leo. That's
dude, this like
vibe.
Legit abusive thing though is so scary. Mm-hmm. And when they're doing casting, they're like, oh, this person person could definitely land himself in prison or at least a few divorces.
And they're like, yeah, we're playing a risky
sign him up. Sign him up. And make sure you get him with, a few beers in him before he sits down with the lead. How scary.
So scary. Before we talk about the response after, should we take a quick pause?
Yes,
because
we should.
There are some serious things that we need to talk about this Clare response.
I'm ready.
When it comes to production. But first, broads, believe it or not, we are quickly approaching the holiday season. I know it's not even Halloween yet, but this happens every year. I think I've got a little bit of time. I've got all the time in the world to tackle Christmas shopping, and then it's the week of Christmas, and I'm on the verge of full-blown panic. If you can relate, let me tell you about FrameBridge. Capturing memories and photos is already a beautiful thing to share, but especially this year, a lot of us haven't seen our loved ones as much as we'd like. FrameBridge makes it easy and affordable to frame your favorite things so that you can show and share memories with your friends and your family, whether you're celebrating together or apart this year.
This ad came at the perfect time. I literally just mailed in something to FrameBridge yesterday.
Really?
To get it framed for Christmas. Yeah, straight up.
Perfect for Christmas.
Getting something framed for Grayston. Anyway, I don't think I really fully appreciated the beauty of family photos until I had my first baby. And now I can't get enough. We've got a full family. So anyway, I really like using FrameBridge. Obviously, I just used it this week. I like that I can preserve my memories forever, and they do all the work for you. You just go to their website, you upload your photo, preview your item online in dozens of frame styles and gallery wall layouts, and choose your favorites. Then the experts at FrameBridge will deliver your pieces ready to hang right to your door. They can also send you, this is what I did, they can send you something to mail in, like a poster to get framed.
Yes.
So they'll send it to your door.
So it protects because it's a hassle to get it, to handle it otherwise.
I know. It's such a, you have to find a framing store. It can be so expensive.
Yeah, FrameBridge is so easy. Like I mentioned, I'm leaning on FrameBridge this year for the bulk of my Christmas presents. I've already had some memories of this past year framed for my daughter's grandparents, and I know it's going to be a gift that they love. It's going to mean so much. The whole process is so simple. I love that it's a gift that means something special. I already can't wait to see their face when they open it. And again, you just have to upload the photos, like Becca said, that you want online. It couldn't be easier. And instead of the hundreds you'd pay at a framing store, their prices start at $39, and all shipping is free, plus our code.
Mm-hmm. You can get started today and frame your photos or send someone the perfect gift when you go to framebridge.com and you use promo code CHATTY. You'll save an additional 15% off your first order. Just go to framebridge.com, promo code CHATTY, framebridge.com, promo code CHATTY.
And speaking of the holiday season, you might be preemptively working on your patience, knowing how much time you'll be spending waiting in line at the post office along with everyone else in the coming months. But do we have some good news for you? Stamps.com is going to be your new favorite website because they bring the post office and now UPS shipping right to your home computer.
That's right. This is another service that I use all the freaking time. You can mail and ship anything you need from the convenience of your own home or office. I sent a rug through stamps.com. Wow. Got a nice little discount, way cheaper than taking it to the post office to one of my friends. Anyway, simply use your computer to print out official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, like a rug, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send. And once everything's ready to go, you can schedule a pickup or drop it off. That's all there is to it. You don't even have to leave your house.
It's amazing. And it gets even better. With stamps.com, you get deep discounts. Deep. That you can't even get at the post office, like 5 cents off every first class stamp, 40% off priority mail, and up to 62% off USPS and UPS shipping rates, which is huge. It's a lot of money saved. Saving you time and money, stamps.com is pretty much a no-brainer.
Don't spend a minute of your holiday season at the post office this year. Sign up for stamps.com instead. There's no risk, and with our promo code CHATTY, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to stamps.com, click on the mic at the top of the homepage, type in CHATTY. Stamps.com, enter CHATTY. Stamps.com, never go to the post office again.
Never go. All right, so back to YOSEF and Clare. As they're exiting, or as it's starting to really combust, Clare bringing it back. Production is quaking at this point. They're like, why? Maybe we shouldn't be removing her as Bachelorette because she throws back an OG line where she says, I never thought I would have to utter these words again. I would never want you to be the father of my child. She says the same thing to YOSEF like she said to Juan Pablo. So she was reminiscing from her old Bachelor
She was waiting
ways.
for that. Didn't think she'd have to pull it out
Unfortunately, she wasn't wearing the dress. She had burnt it the day before. Polyester poisoning. Yeah. She could have been in that dress is all I'm saying while she said this to YOSEF.
And he said back like, well, you want you to be a mother. I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up.
He said, you're not fit to be the mother.
Oh yeah, that was, yes. He specifically said you're not fit. I did note that. Like she's an unfit parent. I'm like, did you throw that around in court too at your poor ex? Anyway, so the dudes come in to intervene.
Yes.
Don't know what weird editing that was. They're like, no, dude, that's not okay.
Yeah, they're like
Claire's separated by some.
They're yelling at him from like far away, and they're like, "Yosef, calm down."
Later on, they're like, "We have your back, Claire." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I mean, hey, stop it, stop. You over there. That's mean.
Well, this is what my thought is I think they weren't allowed to intervene.
I think so too. I think that they were separating Claire so that obviously cue Dale.
Claire is having...
They're like, Dale, where's Dale? Get Dale now!
No, 100%, Becca. We see Claire talking.
Dale's in the bathroom. They're all...
No, I wrote, he's in the bathroom. Like, he 100% was in the bathroom. Claire is looking in the camera. She's bawling. She's just like, I can't believe she's having a full meltdown. Understandable, right? And production is like, get the men away from her. Yeah. Where is Dale? He's definitely taking a piss. They're pulling him out. He's zipping up quick. And they're like, quick, go.
Get in there. He doesn't even know what's going on. He didn't even hear YOSEF.
You can tell that he didn't know what was going on. When he walks up, he looks kind of like, hey, what's going on? He
and it's almost like that thing where you're running and then you like quickly try to do a casual walk. Yes. It was that kind of energy of like, yeah, just I was out here taking a walk, smelling the roses. Hey, Claire.
If this, and I was right away texting you because I was like, if this is not an example of production's involvement in them trying to create that perfect love
and
story.
Make her look like some crazy obsessed bitch too.
Make her look wild. Also being like, here, run away with Dale. Separate the men. Here's your guy. Because they have been working with Claire for years. They know that she is always the most vulnerable when rejected by a man. Like right afterwards, it seems to be very much of like a trigger thing for her. With maybe some of her past relationships where she then will really struggle. And then afterwards, she's always looking for that knight in shining armor. So they find her after she's been rejected by a man, yelled at, called an unfit parent. And then they're like, quick, Dale, run up. All she wants is for someone to like comfort her.
And then he said, I'm not here to appease you. I'm here to please you. And she was like, oh. Cut to the clip of her saying it's not even the second rose ceremony and I'm falling in love with Dale. It's not a stretch to believe that that was a real thing she said then.
Oh, no. At this point, it's like, no, it's at this point she has...
You don't have to make that shit up.
Claire, the rest of this date so obviously has the ick with every guy except Dale.
Every single person. I mean, the rest of the week, honestly, not even the rest of this date.
Yeah.
Which we're going to get more into that.
She now hates all the men and only loves Dale.
It cut to then a little bit later on, she's sitting on a weird set with Chris Harrison, and that was the most bizarre scene I've ever seen.
It was.
It's like a weird behind the scenes I didn't want to see. I don't know. That was just weird.
I felt... I hated it, and I
was like, I can't help it about Dale, and Chris is like, I know you can't. I know you can't.
It was so uncomfy. She said, and also again, we can talk about the magic of editing, but she's also feeling obviously so all about Dale. But the way she actually said it to Chris is she said, there's someone in this room that will never let a man speak to me like that. And could she have been talking about Dale? For sure. But she also could have been saying like, I'm okay. I know there's someone in this room who's never going to let a man say that. Speaks to me like that. And then Chris immediately goes, maybe there already is. Another good night with Dale, I hear. It's like, take Dale and run, Claire. We don't want you here anymore.
Yeah, totally.
And he won't let up about Dale. And she's like, I can't help. He's like, I know. This is exactly part of the plan. It's all coming up roses for us.
In the background, it's like, Psh, can we get help with Tasha in the side room? And then... Yeah,
Carrie's doing the fittings with Tasha. He's just like, her glitter gown. He's like, straight up.
They're chandelier earrings. More.
They have assistants going into Claire's room every day, pulling out one of the dresses because they're cheap as shit, and they're like, "Oh God, we're gonna sneak this one out."
When she was burning her dress, they're like, "God damn it, we're gonna need that."
Tasha's coming. That's what it feels like.
They're like overnighting stuff from Ross because they're stealing her Swarovski crystal gowns for Tasha.
Quick, someone call up JCPenney's. Windsor on the line now. Charlotte Russe.
Oh man. Windsor, that's real. So anyway,
so she comes out.
She cancels the cocktail
She,
party.
of course, cancels it. She's too burnt to finish the cocktail party. Understandable.
Poor Bennett isn't getting that time in.
Bennett's so sad. Dale is getting the first rose, of course.
Of course.
Also, quick side note, who was the random daddy tech billionaire in the front row that was chewing gum? I'm like, I've never seen him before, 100%. And I definitely went over the pictures quite a bit. And he is a tech billionaire. He slipped in.
I don't even know who you're talking about because I didn't even see him at the rose ceremony.
It was a quick glimpse. Every couple seconds they pass him and he was chewing gum in the front. And I've never seen him before. And I was like, is he for Tasha? Is he a week early? But he gets sent home.
Right, he got lost. He was supposed to be quarantining and then somehow got shuffled in.
But Chase with the hair is gone, Garen's gone, and the tech daddy is gone.
Okay, sad. Well, Dale, of course, gave a speech.
Dale, of course, gave a speech because now Dale's the boss. And Dale knows he's the boss.
Yeah, because producers are like, give a speech. Go talk to Claire. He's probably exhausted.
So tired. But he probably is also, I mean, you're getting encouraged every step of the way that like, you know how the producers write, how they would say, you're definitely his favorite.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously he is her favorite, but then he's hearing that constantly from producers. So it's just like, I got this in the bag.
They're so good at their job. It doesn't matter. Like you and I are so good at vibes, and they'd be like, there's something between you that we just like haven't seen before. And I was just like, yep, that's it. We're married. It's done. It's over. 2 hours later, gets sent home. Tragic. But they're good at what they do.
Yeah, they're good. Well, the next day, they have the first group date, and Chris Harrison comes in, by the way, at the top, and he says that this process will expose you.
Right. Exposing people's evil side, that's how the process works.
He said, this is what it's about, is exposing you.
I know, I'm like,
was this a slip of the tongue, Chris? Because
I think that's what you're supposed to do during casting to make sure you don't get any actual psychopaths who are going to kill the lead.
Yes.
On the show.
And are you gonna, again, this feels like this felt like a quick break of that fourth wall where he's like, this is the process of the show as it exposes you. And it was like, oh God, this was a quick, it was like,
I feel unsafe.
It's like all of a sudden watching a horror movie, and it all seems fine. And then all of a sudden in the background, it's just like, something pops up. That's what that felt like. I was like, oh, just shivers sent down my spine for a second. And then he's like back. Anyways, the date card.
The process.
Yo was exposed. And he said Yosef was exposed. And it was just like, oh, geez.
Like, you knew his soul all along.
Like, has this been like part of their plan the whole time? Like, they really care about getting rid of like bad people. So like they just want to expose them.
It's all very weird and very scary.
Well, group date is then going to be Jason, Jay, Easy, Chasen, Blake, Ed, Riley, and Dale. And of course, there's a moment where Claire is like, I feel great, but there's that someone special. She's in her room. And then Deanna from The Bachelorette, season 4, shows up to give advice. And again, this was just production, just feeding Claire exactly what she wants. Deanna went in there and was like, when you know, and I knew immediately. It sounds like you do too.
Totally. Why did she have his pants?
Honey, I don't know. I don't understand. Apparently she asked for them after he
they're trying to make her look as crazy as possible.
Yes.
There was a bow on them.
There was a bow on them and she kept smelling them.
I know, the
and
crotch. I was like, please stop. You're not doing yourself any favors, girl.
Put the pants away.
You need like an image consultant. And this is like, not good for your image.
I was just like, Claire, I don't care if producers told you that you should show Deanna the pants. Don't show her the pants. Don't bring the pants out.
Don't listen to them, Claire. Those evil voices in your ear all the time, do not resist them. They are not here for the right reasons.
But I just wanted to say too, I was thinking about this when Deanna was talking to Claire and saying like, it works when you know. I just wanted to say that there have been many Bachelor and Bachelorettes who have come out since the show saying that they knew night one who their final pick was going to be. It is not uncommon. So the thing is, all these other leads have, like JoJo, for instance, knew right away that it was Jordan. They went along with the process knowing what the show's about. There's two parts, I think, with Claire. Number one, exactly what you're saying. Yes, she is just like, fuck this.
Wants
I
her
want to
fairy
find
tale
love.
Story.
She's also very passionate and, follows her heart very strongly. And also, I think producers are shoving Dale on her because they know she's already into him.
Yes, and I think she is a very trusting person.
Yes.
And I think that she knows these producers. She, like you said before, she's been on multiple seasons. You got to remember, these are friends. I am still friends with some of these producers that I am talking all this shit on. You got to understand, it's a very confusing position to be in. So these are people that she trusts. And they're just, and you got to remember too, with producers, at the end of the day, they're just doing their job.
Right.
And so it's a very complicated thing. Mm-hmm. And
it's a complicated relationship.
And the process works, it works. And then, of course, she says, which does feel prompted, like this may be the shortest season ever.
Yes, it definitely feels prompted. So the men are, quote unquote, waiting for Claire because they're irritated. They're supposed to have a day date. Again, production is doing this thing this season so obviously.
They don't have to travel anywhere. They don't have to go anywhere. They can fit everything in one day.
Obviously,
you know what I mean?
Claire wasn't like just hanging around. They 100%. She, by the way, is in the same outfit that she was talking to Deanna when she spoke to the men. They brought Deanna in. They had a conversation. It got filmed. It was taking longer. They had to redo makeup, whatever. And the production is obviously telling her like, oh no, the guys are good. We're just going to have you then come in
literally,
and say,
dude, all they have to do is be like, oh, Deanna is running late. And it's when it's supposed to be at 11 a.m. Claire could just be sitting around and wait for Deanna to get there until 4 p.m. And then it's going to take 2 hours to shoot that. Then she's got to get ready for the date.
How many times in the history of the show have there been, especially like when you were on the show, how many times were you waiting around for hours and then production is telling you, hey, you guys just hold on. We're having delayed here, blah, blah, blah. Never. Wow. Ari just isn't showing up.
Never. You hit the nail on the head, 100%. The whole show, what people underestimate is the whole show is waiting time. All the time. You take a party bus somewhere. You're sitting on the party bus for an hour and a half before they let you out for the date. Then you're sitting at the date location for 2 hours waiting for, Ari to get there. Then after, you're waiting. It's the whole time. And you're so fucking right. Never once do they say, like, it's weird. Maybe Ari doesn't want to be with you girls.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And so they're making Clare look like she's not taking this seriously anymore. And the guys are already anxious about it. And now they're just going to double down.
Yeah.
But eventually she shows up and she says,
we're going to go straight to the cocktail party.
Sorry, it's getting late. I scratched the date. So let's do a cocktail party. And everyone is trying to stay positive, even though they're clearly irritated. And then that's when we have this will go down in Bachelorette history, I believe, for cocktail parties. I think it was maybe one of the wildest cocktail parties I've ever seen.
Dale gave a speech and a group hug. Apparently, did I miss that?
Oh, you didn't see that part?
Maybe I was like looking away at my notes or something.
Okay, so everyone gets together, they sit down, and right when it starts, Dale immediately says, hey, everybody, so here's the thing. I'd like to take Clare first and talk with her for 5 minutes because after yesterday, I feel like I should just talk to her about some things first. But, let's just say moving forward that, he basically gave a speech saying that let's all like be on the up and up with each other. Let's make sure everyone gets their time because of what happened the past few rose ceremonies and cocktail parties. So he kind of does this whole, I'm going to grab her first, but he says explicitly, to give the men credit, Dale says explicitly, I'm going to just grab her for 5 minutes. I just want to start off and then everyone else take as much time. I just want to ask something. Cheers to time and spending it with each other, blah, blah, blah. And then he's about to walk away with her. He goes, first, no. Let's like start this out with a good attitude. Like, let's start this out with a good vibe. And is like, let's have a group hug. It was very awkward.
I don't know how I missed that. I really don't. I really thought I was paying attention.
The men are clearly distraught.
Peeved.
Like, why is this guy acting like our coach and being like, let's all bring it in for a group hug, guys.
That's so annoying.
I'm going to take her for 5 minutes and then you all can like, however much time you all want. It was definitely, if I like Dale, I think that it was definitely, if I was in the guy's position, I would have been irritated for sure.
I'm going to get more into that in a second about my opinion on Dale. But basically she's like, oh, let's go to my fucking room. Casa de Clare. Great look for you, sweetie. Not. So also he starts it off with like, I'm proud of you. And I'm just checking in. And I'm like, bitch, who told you to say this shit? Which again, so we're going to sound like a broken record, but it's like, okay, so producers told him to say like, I'm proud of you, just checking in, like.
Maybe that was Dale because I've been watching all of his Insta story posts and he's very like that. Okay. When he's on Insta story, he's very like motivational Monday type, positive messages, like.
So annoying.
Honestly, we hate positivity.
I hate people who look on the bright side of things. What bright side? We're all on the fucking dark side of the moon, if you will. Anyway.
But that might have been him. But everything again felt prompted.
You're right.
It did feel prompted, though. It felt prompted.
Meanwhile, she's just like, you're so perfect as he goes into finger her.
Becca, when the hand
I was like,
slipped up. Like went up the leg a little bit under. I 100% felt the tingles.
Yeah.
Like
secondhand.
I got the secondhand tingles and I had one of those, like a memory of like, I literally had a flashback to a specific situation with someone. I was like, oh, I remember that feeling when you first get that hand. Woo.
And you're on camera too. Something kind of sexy about it. You guys can't, well, it's kind of hot because you can't have sex. Like it's all this built up tension. On day 6.
Well, seriously. Well, she starts to grab him and wants to start making out. He pulls back and she's like, oh, their hands are sweaty. And then they start getting entangled, all this stuff. Why are you so perfect? They're making out, all of this. In the meantime, we find out that Zach J, aka Buttring Zach, is going to get a one-on-one date.
Yeah.
And then back to Dale and Claire making out. We find out the men have been waiting for about an hour at this point. He said 5 minutes. Right.
And again, this I can say firsthand that this is production because you are blocked. I'm sure or ushered in. You know, so someone might be talking for literally 2 minutes and then producers are like, why don't you go interrupt? Go ahead.
Yes.
Or, you've been talking for 30 minutes and people are like, can I go talk to him now? Can I go talk to him now? And they're like, no, let's just hold back.
And
so that's what's been happening.
And I would imagine too, right?
You're going to take advantage of it if you're the lead.
Yeah, when there's so
What are you going to do? Let's break this up?
If you like him the most, I'm in the middle of a hot makeout session with a guy that looks like that. You think I'm going back there?
No. To those tool bags?
Never. After my
Fuck
YOSEF
off.
night the night before, I'm going to get some sweet, sweet loving from Dale. It especially with that amount of men without a date, just the cocktail party, I would imagine production would have been like, if this wouldn't have been a weird circumstance and they wouldn't have had Tayshia waiting, they would have been like, you need to spread your time around with these other guys so that we get to know these men.
I know. So what's the name who they then send in to find him? They send in Easy.
So cut to maybe one of the most uncomfortable moments that I've seen on camera during The Bachelorette that's not like, again, a moment where I'm like, wow, a strip dodgeball date. Like an organically awkward high school moment.
Like you might have sent in her parents into the room like while they're making out.
Yes. Flashbacks of my mom and dad walking
You're
on me in high
sprinting
school.
to go casually sit in the living room like, hey, we've been here sitting here the whole time.
It's like my principal knocking on like my fogged up car. True story. Anyways.
Did you say that in another episode? Because I love that story. We'll talk about that later.
Horrible.
I love it. But it's so inappropriate.
So inappropriate. But Easy knocks on Claire's door and Dale's like, let me go hide in the closet. And she puts her blazer back on. And we're getting graduate moments, which now I'm understanding the poster.
Boom. Good call.
She was in a blazer in the show, right? Or in the poster. So Easy walks in and Dale is sitting in the living room. They have the most awkward exit scene where Claire's like, no, you're going to leave without giving me a hug? Like, it's already awkward enough.
Shameless. She is shameless. She doesn't give a fuck.
She doesn't. She's like,
baby, a kiss goodbye.
She has such the ick for all the other guys now.
I can't blame her. I really can't. No. I said that through the whole thing. They are so trying to make her look bad, though, because then after when they showed that clip of her saying, can we kind of move the rest of the night along? That's so fucked up.
The fact that they showed that.
That's so fucked up because
they would never show behind the scenes with a lead.
Almost every lead, I guarantee, has said some shit like that to the producers. Like, can we just speed things up? I'm exhausted.
They want us normally to love the lead, regardless of anything about them.
This is what I said. This is insane because they are trying to make the lead and the lead's love interest the villains of the season.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yes. They are trying to paint a picture of Dale. They don't want us to like Dale.
It's sort of like Courtney and who I've referenced before.
Yes, and Ben.
It's sort of like, Courtney and Ben H Z A B C D E F G. So Ben and Courtney, and because they were the two that ended up together, and Courtney was like this obnoxious model who everyone hated because she was just really confident because she would say winning. I got the rose, and we're kind of getting that vibe.
Yeah, and she was so hot, and it's a Dale situation, and they're trying to make Dale seem really cocky and arrogant, which I really don't think he is at all. They're trying to paint this picture of the two of them, and you'd think again that ABC would be like, look at this love story we created, not here are these villains.
And then after that, they're purposely, of course, which gets the guys riled up, sending in the dudes quick after the next.
Boom, literally, Ed's blowing bubbles into his drink. Like, so Claire and Jay are then together, and
guess what? The producers send in Dale
in, which is why, by the way, when the guys are confronting Dale later and they're like, "You're lying. Why won't you be straight up?" It's probably because it's again breaking the fourth wall where Dale's like, I didn't know she was in there. And they're like, yeah, sure. But production probably said, don't say anything to the guys, but I think Claire wants to see you again.
Now, this is where I do not fault Claire for a lot of this, but when she invited him to come in and talk again when he came to interrupt, that was really cringy. And I was like, girl, have a little bit of self-control.
No, you have to respect the other guys in this situation. Like, Jay had just sat down.
Understand by the way, what everyone else is going to think of you. Like,
right. And Jay, by the way, was the one who got interrupted last week because of Blake. And now he's getting interrupted this week.
Are you kidding me? She doesn't even know what his name is, much less that she even talked to him last week.
That's true.
And I guarantee producers are pep talking Dale behind the scene. Mm-hmm. And probably there's a whole bunch of shit talking too. Like, I bet that they're like, dude, honestly, like these other guys, losers. Like you are the only one who seems like you really care about Claire. And like it shows every time you guys are together. Like I guarantee that shit is going on so that then Dale is being told to not give a fuck about the other guys. I'm sure they're like, are you here to make friends? No, you're here to find love with Claire. So you know what? Do your thing, dude. You're doing it. Keep on keeping on. He is getting hyped behind the scenes.
Hyped. Absolutely hyped. Well, then they start making out, of course. And then Chasen, sweet Chasen, who, by the way, I think I really like Chasen a lot. Chasen is like, all right, guys, I'll go interrupt Dale. And in an epic proportion, a demonstration of a romantic, like rom-com type movie, Chasen opens the door. Dale and Claire are leaning up against the same wall making out. Dale has his arm up against Claire as Chasen is kind of like, anybody? And then sees them leaning. And they stay leaning, giggling like high schoolers. It was
so cringe.
So cringe. And Dale is smart. I have to give this to Dale because what Dale does, because he's confident about his position, he doesn't act like jealous or try to defend himself in the situation. He stays cool and confident. And she's now, Chasen's in the middle of giving her a hug. She's looking over her shoulder and Dale's giving her a wink like, I'll see you later. Big smile. He keeps popping into the door being like, hey.
Well, the dudes confront him.
They confront him.
And he is denying everything, and then he says he's the one best suited to comfort her, which of course they will literally never let go of. Which isn't...
I think he was trying to say something else.
He's actually not that good with his words, like in some of these heated situations. Like you see him kind of like stuttering and tripping over sometimes, and I genuinely believe that sometimes he does not, things don't come out the way he means them to.
Yes. He doesn't seem like a very confrontive person in general, so maybe this is kind of a new twist.
And I think he just meant like, I mean, the truth is she kind of does connect with him the most. Like he probably was the best suited to comfort her.
Well, and I think what he might have meant is that the night before, production sent him to go have a long bit of alone time with Claire after YOSEF. He knew everything that was going on because of Claire. So then the next day he's like, let me take her for 5 minutes because her and I talked the night before.
Totally.
So I'm going to like tell her that I'm proud of her and blah, blah, blah. So I think in that conversation with the men, when he was saying I'm best suited with her, I think what he was trying to say, because they were talking about him taking her, is that like, yeah, the night before I knew about everything that was going on. I had been comforting her. Mm-hmm. So I'm the best suited to talk to her right now. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was getting real, real heated and real, real awkward. Mm-hmm. I couldn't even believe it.
All right, so let's take a quick pause.
Yeah, let's take a quick pause. So broads, isn't it great how far media streaming has come? I mean, it really wasn't that long ago that we were subject to 2 or 3 good radio stations, decent radio stations that you rotated between based on which was playing the best song. And then of course, things got even worse when we all started downloading songs off of illegal sites and ruining our parents' computers. I'm still really sorry for that, Mom and Dad. But thank God in the last decade, we've perfected music streaming online, and a way to get access to all the music is through Amazon Music Unlimited. With Amazon Music Unlimited, you'll get access to 70 million songs on demand, ad-free, everything from the classics to top 40 to playlists curated by occasion or mood. And it gets better because for a limited time, you can get your first 3 months for free. My daughter Ember is, I swear to you, Lady Gaga's biggest fan ever. The girl is obsessed and has so much fun dancing to her music. It's pretty much a non-negotiable that we immediately created a dance playlist for her made up of mostly Lady Gaga the second we created our account. It's what keeps us going through our living room dance parties all day long in these current times and these long drives. So for a limited time, you can get 3 months of Amazon Music Unlimited for free. Go to amazon.com/chatty. That's amazon.com/chatty to get your first 3 months of Amazon Music for free. Starts at $7.99 per month after that. New subscribers only. Terms apply. Offer expires 1/11/2021. But broads, listen, it's 5 o'clock these days. 5 o'clock on Friday hits so different. Of course, I work from home, as do a lot of people now. So let's look at 5 o'clock on Friday, not literally, but as a state of mind.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, as they say.
Right? You know how it goes. The sun is setting. You just sent off your final work email for the day, and I pop that bottle of wine to chill out.
I'll be honest, my days have had a little mixed up since March, but one surefire way to incite that Friday feeling is getting a First Leaf wine delivery. Woo! I always look forward to seeing what's in my delivery boxes because the world of wine can be an intimidating one for sure, especially when you just go off of the labels. But First Leaf uses an algorithm and your feedback to curate custom deliveries that you're sure to love beyond just the bottle.
Oh, yes. Honestly, before trying First Leaf, I was not very into red wines. I'm more of a white wine queen. And that's what I thought, at least. But it turns out I was just drinking the wrong kinds of reds for me. Firstly, focuses on your taste profile when you take this quiz and really personalizes your deliveries to that while still introducing you to things that you may not have picked on your own. So I'm actually really excited because in my mind, red wine is the perfect drink for that chilly fall evening. And I can't wait to finally enjoy the combo. Thanks to First Leaf Deliveries and a newfound love of red wines. I'm very excited. I feel very chic. And broads, just wait till you hear this deal because these are top quality bottles of wine you're getting in your First Leaf delivery, okay? Like typically $20 a bottle. The perfect 6-pack of wine for Bachelorette viewing. Tell the people, B.
What are you waiting for, people? Get that Friday feeling like we do any day with First Leaf. Join today and you'll get 6 bottles of wine for $29.95.
Wow.
Or double the fun with 12 bottles for $59.95.
Oh my God.
A bargain. A steal. Just go to tryfirstleaf.com/chatty. 6 bottles of wine for $29.95. Quality bottles of wine. Or 12 bottles for $59.95 at tryfirstleaf.com/chatty. We got to get into it.
I know we have to talk about it.
I'm looking forward to it. This is the first thing I'm going to say about Zach J, and I feel like this is going to be a little controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway.
We don't avoid controversial here.
So I noticed this is just like a really subtle thing and a really like subtle shady dick, but he's a cleaning service owner.
Okay.
And that right away I was kind of like, interesting, because like somewhat, at least this has been my experience like in Southern California and California in general, like cleaning service owners can be a little bit exploitative because basically the idea is literally all you're doing is hiring people like by the hour for like minimum wage.
Okay.
So like, for example, you're going to have this like older, like in California, at least this is sort of like the trope. I have family members who work as cleaning service people, like an older Hispanic woman who's going to be getting paid $12 an hour. And then what they're charging the client is $90 for 2 hours. So that lady is going home with $25 after cleaning for 2 hours. And then that person who is the cleaning service owner is going to pocket 65 of those dollars for not doing anything, for literally just setting up the cleaning thing.
Okay.
So I already kind of have beef with cleaning service owners because they're literally not doing any of the dirty work. Just usually what it means is that in my experience,
did it say he was an owner?
Yes.
Okay.
So in my experience, what that usually means is that they're the person that can speak English and set up a website. And then they're pocketing a shit ton of money when other people are literally on their hands and knees scrubbing people's floors.
I hear what you're saying. I had no idea where you were going with that.
Oh, okay.
I was just like, what are you?
No, it's just like I already kind of have beef with people who own that kind of business because it's just kind of like exploitative and sort of shitty most of the time. Yes. No, I don't know. He could have like a car cleaning service or like a
we don't know. We don't know what it is.
But I was kind of like, that was just
like
kind of an interesting thing.
Quote unquote is the owner and it's just him.
And I'm sure we're gonna get people in the just save your breath. People in the DMs who are going to be like, I'm a cleaning service owner, and that is not true. Look, it's just been my experience. It's just a small red flag for me.
Zach might own a car washing company and be the only person who works it.
Does the detailing.
He does everything.
Yeah.
He's a one-man show.
Yeah, he could be.
But I hear what you're saying. It's just it's a note. You made a mental note. You made a mental note.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm really interested to see what you're going to say about this date. So,
okay, right. I'm going to start. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come at this off the top, how I felt about Zach before everything happened. How about that?
Okay, I'll do the same.
Okay. Because,
go ahead.
All right. So we have the Zach butt ring gets his spa day. Clearly, Claire does not want to be there. She cannot stand any of these men anymore. And
she was disgusted that he was ticklish when they were cleaning his feet.
She was just disgusted by butt ring in general, I feel like. Now, Zach initially gave me this energy of, I was like, Zach he seems really sweet to me, because I kept thinking about the past couple episodes where he was always just like, I can't wait to spend time with Claire. And then he would always try to take her first and she'd shut him
Mickey
down.
Mouse. Yeah. I can't wait to spend time with Claire. Oh boy. Oh, jolly.
But every time he would initiate trying to take her, she would shut him down. And I was always like, oh, we said last episode, we're like, we kind of feel bad for butt ring. Like, you know, so also then you
when he sprinted in, Claire, can I talk to you?
And then the guys, we see a snapshot of the guys talking and they're like, well, Zach's in love with Claire. So it feels like he's there for the right reasons. And then we kind of get this picture of him.
Wait, so what was your vibe?
I just felt like he was kind of this sweet kind of guy who has a lot of who has a lot of energy in general.
I was disgusted by him immediately, but like not for any good reason. I was just like, ew.
He just did He made me kind of be like, oh, he's just like really nervous and he has a lot of energy.
Yeah, but would you want him to touch you with a 10-foot pole?
No, honey. When he got so high strung at one point and she was like, are you doing okay during this pedicure? And he's like, honestly, anything is fine. I could get my foot tattooed right now and enjoy it.
She was like,
and if you told me to bungee jump or skydive, like I would do it right now. If you told me to catch myself on fire, I would do it for this day.
In that moment, I saw her eyes glazing over and she was like, go to your happy place. Go to your happy place. Think about last night with Dale.
She was trying
to escape mentally in any way that she possibly could. And I did not fault her for it.
I would have felt, and by the way, too, production, you know, during this date had just like the kind of, you know, this guy has some issues type of music that was playing, like and then when they got to the pool, dead silence. They really did a number on him during the musical, like all that stuff.
I can't fault her for saying the things of like, I wish I was doing this with Dale. I would be thinking the exact same thing too in her position.
Of course. And again, I think probably more leads say that and they edit it out.
Yes, 100%.
They talked to the leads for like 20 hours a day.
Except Colton, because he was playing the game.
Colton knew the whole
was
time.
Like,
and so he was
I wish I was with Hannah G. He's looking around like, did you hear that? I wish I had this spa date with Hannah G.
He has his mic on in the bathroom and he's acting like he's talking to himself. Oh man, good job, Colton. You're really killing it, Colton. That was a really good.
I miss Hannah G.
God, I miss Hannah G so much. What I would do to be with Hannah G. Flush.
Cassie? Not sure.
Is anybody? Oh, was my mic on? Whoopsie. I guess you know who my favorite is.
Literally. Oh man, scary. So
and then she clearly is trying to get him to shut up by putting cucumbers on his eyes and covering his face in guacamole. I know it's not guacamole, but I pictured it as guacamole, and I was imagining her putting the cucumbers on his eyes and being like, because he wouldn't stop talking, silently leaving, like blindfolding him with the cucumbers. And
now you're just gonna want to let this rest for 10 to 15 minutes. Just stepping out some chain smoking cigarettes the whole time.
I'm going to set an alarm and it'll go off in about 10 minutes. You set it to an hour. You're laying
I'm going to apply my treatment right now. Apologies if I'm a little quiet. Tiptoeing out like a baby, like you're trying to put a baby to sleep. I want to quickly jump to
putting a baby.
I want to quickly jump back and say it's interesting. The guy's back.
I'm sorry. Butt ring has a baby.
He kind of looks like a giant baby.
He does, and that's why I can't handle it. Okay.
This is serious. I have to get to this.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Now listen. Back at the ranch, They said there's rumors that Dale and Clare were talking beforehand. And I wanted to touch on this because another producer thing, my flag went off. All it takes is a producer in an interview saying to someone, there's been rumors that Dale and Clare were talking beforehand. Yes. What do you think about that?
Yes.
And then that guy will go out and be like, did you know there's rumors about that Dale and Clare? Like,
yes.
That, when he said there's been rumors, I'm like, there's only a group of like 10 of you. So someone had to start it.
I don't know. I'm sorry. No, you're right. It's 100%. 100%. They are they're 100% inciting this because, and I will go back and say what we said last episode. If Dale and Clare were talking previously, we will find out next episode because they're trying to make Dale and Clare look as bad as possible. So we will know for a fact if they talked to each other before next episode. And if we don't find that out, then they weren't speaking beforehand.
Producers are literally doing anything to try to get the other guys riled up about the two of them. And it's showing. You have to be blind not to see that. Back to Big Baby. So they're in the pool. And let's just get to the kiss. Because look, here's what I'm going to say. I've been right. I've been waiting for this. Okay. I know you have too. Okay. That was a little crazy. Okay. She went in, basically grazed his lips and then was like, whoa, you pulled back. Okay.
He didn't pull back.
This is what, no. This is what me and Gray, we really discussed this in depth too. Yeah. What happened is she went in to kiss him. She was like, I can't make myself do this even for the show.
Yes.
So I'm going to like pull back and be like, whoa, weird vibes. What was that?
She's
that
already
was weird.
faithful to her mans.
Yeah. Yeah. She like can't force herself to do it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, then she pulls it off like, oh, okay, whoa, that was weird.
Yes.
In an Emmy award-winning performance, acting like not really, but acting like it was him, like, oh, whoa, yes, what was that vibe?
He did not pull back. He was standing there. Now, did he lean forward? No, but he stood there and he did the little opening of his mouth.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was ready. It was waiting for
everything was pretty much normal.
Yeah.
So, like, that is the only thing I'm going to say about Clare. I'm going to say, like, yeah, honestly, it just was that she didn't really want to kiss him. It wasn't that he pulled back. But personally, I stand firmly behind that everything that transpired in the next, like, 2 minutes.
Yes.
I was 100% not about. Mm-hmm. Gray and I both agreed it was super creepy. Basically, he keeps trying. He's like, no, because he realizes that she thinks that he pulled back. I'm using air quotes. And so he's like, no, I didn't pull back. So he grabs her. Okay, maybe once to like be like, no, let's kiss. I was into that. Okay, I get that. And also slip up. I'll give him.
And also maybe like gently, like, okay, she was leaning in. And
no, I want to kiss you.
And like maybe a gentle, like on her shoulder, like, no. Gentle. But even the first one was.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it was.
Intense.
I'm trying to like. I know. To be even.
I know.
Like,
it's a hard.
So let's even say the first one was like gentle and allowable. After that, he 2 or 3 times
hard.
is trying to pull her chin and twist her neck back to go in to kiss him. And then as she's getting out of the pool leaving, he touches her belly with his whole hand on her. And that made me really uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yes.
And then he kept trying to do it. And then when he gets up or when they're out of the pool, he's still trying to do it. And this is what I thought would be appropriate instead. He should have asked her, instead of assuming that she didn't want to kiss. Okay, this is going to get a little confusing, but he made the assumption that she was upset because he thought the whole issue was that she thought he pulled back.
Yes.
Instead of making that assumption, what he should have said was like, oh, he should have just talked it out and been like, oh, did you think I pulled back? Instead of trying to grab her and be like, let's kiss. That was not appropriate. Be like, dude, and then say, do you want to kiss me? Instead of assuming that she wants to kiss him or continue to interact with him.
Yes.
It was very aggressive and so many assumptions were made.
It's a perfect example of me, or to me, of like, where people, and it gets me so angry, people when we're talking about consent, that like consent can be removed.
Yeah.
Okay. Once you give someone like the go ahead, you can immediately be like, no, I'm done. And she made it very clear. She's like, I'm leaning forward to kiss. And then she drew the line and she was like, no. And he just continued to
and
grab.
And that's what I'm saying. He made this assumption like, oh, the whole issue here is just that I didn't seem down enough. So now I'm just going to really double down.
It would have been like, granted, I know she was walking away going like, no, let's just whatever. Like you said, he could have just been like, Claire, can we pause for just one moment? Can I ask you, like, did I do something? Like, can we talk about what just happened and just communicate? And then, like you said, say, hey, like, is it, do you want me to kiss you? Did you want to kiss? Like, can I ask, you thought I pulled back. I really didn't intend to. I'm just nervous and I'm sorry if it came off that way. But the grabbing was not appropriate.
What really upset me about this interaction was that I truly believe in his earnestness, in Zach's like earnestness about the situation. And it to me seemed like such a clear byproduct of like our culture and how boys are taught, because I really think that he believed he was doing the right thing. And I'm not trying to give him a pass about that. That was not okay. And he's a grown man who can figure out like, what consent means and how it can be withdrawn, like you were saying. But it just made it so clear to me, like this whole thing of like, girls want to be pursued, like they want you to take the initiative. Like, girls want you to make the first move. They want you to be like aggressive. Like, I don't know. There's something about that was just so weird to me because it just felt like, a byproduct of our culture. And
I completely agree.
It was just, ugh.
I
didn't
agree.
like the way it made me feel. And I personally believe that I love her move of sending Chris Harrison to dinner to meet with him. And if I had thought of that, I would have done the same thing in her position.
And we see Claire, have this moment, and it really did break my heart when she was like sitting on the ground with her dogs. She is obviously so triggered by this because she's talked about her past abusive relationships. Like this is, and let's remember that 24 hours before, she was screamed at by a man about her not being a fit parent. And now she goes to dinner with this, or is at a pool with this man who she's saying no, and he keeps grabbing her. So that's two situations. You don't think she's falling more in love with Dale by the second?
Oh my God. I have not been in like any kind of extreme like abusive situation or anything, but that interaction would have completely triggered me too. And I would have been, and 100%. Gray made a good point. He goes, if he couldn't like respect her in that situation, saying no, how does she feel about sending him home then later that night? Like that's got to be scary. This is a dude, like, is he gonna force himself to stick around and been like, I do not blame her for being like, I don't want to give any kind of mental or emotional capacity to this person any further.
Completely get that. I think it's a great move. She sent Chris Harrison. So Chris Harrison.
It's kind of legendary. So I love that.
And Chris Harrison just showed up and was just like, unfortunately, Claire's not coming to dinner and you are going home.
And what was so cringe was then Zach tried to like talk to Chris Harrison about
I know. I was like,
and he's just like, my man.
You gotta go. You gotta go. You've been sent home. Yep.
Pretty legendary, I gotta say.
Claire, listen, when we see clips of Chris Harrison in next week's episode saying that she broke the Bachelorette, she did indeed, because she is breaking down so many walls where you're starting to see production. She's shutting stuff down. She's going, no, I'm not going to do that. Like,
I think unfortunately people are just going to see it. Most people are going to see it the way that the producers want it to be framed, which is her being a difficult bitch.
Mm-hmm. Not to be that person, but let's role reverse here. And if there was a lead who was male, who was like, I've found her, and he only has eyes for her. He's sending women home. A woman is making him feel uncomfortable sexually, and he's like, no, and sending her home. We would be chanting his name in the street, cheering him on. We'd be like, he is so romantic. He is so faithful. He is so loyal. And
You're
Claire,
gonna have so many people in the comments like, well, the difference is that Claire was blah blah. She's made a couple missteps, but I really can't. I think every lead does.
Everyone does, but it is true. If we would have had a lead who very clearly only had their eyes on one person the entire time, I don't think, first of all, everyone would have been just assuming that they were talking beforehand. I think it would have been like, oh, he's just. I don't know. Maybe I'm off.
No, I don't think you're off, because I think, like, look at Colton's season when Cassie left and he jumped over the fence and was like doing anything to pursue her, and everyone thought that was really romantic, and she wasn't even into it at the time.
Yep.
Dale is into it. This is a extremely consensual situation, and people are going to trash it and be like, oh my God, how embarrassing, and she's crazy. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. She doesn't respect the process. Did Colton respect the process when he tried to leave and dip out in Portugal? He just couldn't physically escape. That's all. Meanwhile, producers are like, here's the carpet out of the set. Please.
Yeah.
Take advantage of it at your will. Okay, group date. It's a roast.
Yes, it is a roast. And
it's actually a date.
It's like actually a date. Margaret Cho, love Margaret Cho, huge fan.
It's great.
And
okay, there were actually good roasts, but surprise, surprise, producers told all the guys to roast Dale.
Yeah. I mean, and even if, let's be real, when they find out that the audience members are going to be the remaining men, they're all talking to each other. I think that would have happened organically. Everyone is so pissed at Dale at this point. So it's like, of course they're going to roast
I felt like it was embarrassing for them.
It was.
Like, for them to just all be hating on him, I was like, okay, that's pathetic.
I was, though, like you said, very impressed. They're like, they were good. They were funny.
That's what I wrote too.
I was like, why are these guys so funny? And why aren't we seeing more of their personalities? I want to see them. I hope in Tayshia's season we see more of these men because they seem funny.
I was like, this is actually these are good roasts.
You know, normally these like stand-up
Horrible.
dates are a nightmare. And there's one person who's okay. So then you fall in love with that person because you're like, wow, they kind of have a sense of humor. Everyone was kind of killing it.
Yeah, I know. I just felt like the intention was so clear with the producers. Again, I know this is just so annoying we keep saying this, but it not only made the men look dumb, it further isolated Claire from them.
Yes.
Because how shitty does that make you feel if literally all of the people that you're with are talking shit on your guy?
Well, also, did you watch the end scene after the credits?
Yes.
Where, of course, people, let's not be... Claire did not write these jokes. Claire does not have time. They're not going to be like, here, Claire, take this pen and paper.
Here's a journal.
And write these jokes when you're like doing 1,000 hours of interviews a day. So the producers wrote those jokes and they were very rude to the guys. Yeah. It was just like, oh, Brendan, who are you again? I thought I sent you home last week. And then it was like, Zach, I forgot who you were. Like, she was being mean to the guys and basically saying like, I don't remember.
For them to hate her.
I don't remember any of you.
I mean, I feel like that's all there was to say about the date.
Yeah.
About that roast portion of the date.
I mean, obviously, I think Jordan's really funny and I'd like to see more of Jordan.
Which is he?
Jordan was the one who was like, what's the one thing you don't know about Dale? Nothing, because he won't shut the fuck up.
I know, that was actually pretty good. Okay, so that comment in particular...
sent off some alarm bells for you.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was like, okay, there's only so much that like producers can prompt. If you're just chilling with all the guys and someone is just being that fucking annoying ass obnoxious dude in the room, you can't manufacture that.
I'm starting to get these vibes from Dale that he is, like we're saying, this like super positive type guy, like motivational speaker energy. And you know how the
like
motivation...
in a Crystal kind of way? Like how Crystal was on my season?
Yes. Maybe just like is trying to be positive, but always...
Maybe it's just not authentic. Like, you know?
Yeah, or it is, and he's just somebody who's kind of a chatter.
Well, no, because like, I think
broad.
the issue that a lot of people... It doesn't even matter. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I get that vibe too. And I get the kind of vibe that he might actually be fucking annoying.
Yeah, like the guys who just don't like him. Like he doesn't... Like, they're not down with him in their bro hang.
No, because he's just fucking irritating. And then on top of that, has a chip on his shoulder because Claire likes him and everyone's hyping him up. And he, like you said, is boss boss baby now.
Well, Bennett comes in and Bennett goes the hardest by a mile.
That was embarrassing.
Yeah, that was uncomfy, even though Bennett. I also love that Margaret Cho, the first person that she roasted, she was like, Bennett, I feel like you may murder me. And she's like, you may have like a house or like a body in the back of your car. And I was like,
is that what she said?
She said something like that. And I was like, oh my God, Margaret Cho, like, we all be friends?
We see each other, Margaret.
I'm blushing.
You can go back and listen to our other episode where we said we think that he maybe has like someone in his basement. We're on the same page. It's almost like we're comedians like you. Text us.
Hit me up, please.
Come on our show.
Oh my God, I would love. But yeah, it was pretty intense. But it was interesting because then Bennett said, Dale, how long do you think it'll take for Claire to figure out that you're here trying to campaign for president and that you have no interest in her? See, that to me was the comment that...
I said that was really weird.
That's what I'm saying. That's the comment that made me think he's like Mr. Motivational Speaker guy who's maybe always wanting to take the producers and like be like, let me tell you something. And like always trying to say like, you know, things that you could write down and like make quotations, which, you know, no harm, no foul. Like that's just, it would not be my style, not my type.
There was this one personal trainer I knew who like on his personal training gym, he would write down quotes and then put himself at the quote. Like if I said something. I've been
noticing this on Instagram lately. I've been noticing people will post a photo of themselves and put a quote on it. And it's a quote that like by themselves.
Will they put their name?
Yeah.
Like Dash Becca Martinez?
Yeah. I think we should start doing it, but have the quotes be really shitty.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah. It'd be so fun.
My brain, the wheels are turning now. That's so embarrassing, and that should be illegal.
Like, tomorrow's Thursday. Quote Jessica Ambrose. And just like a really like...
Tomorrow's Thursday, and tomorrow's... the only difference between tomorrow and yesterday is that tomorrow's called Thursday and yesterday is called Tuesday. And it's like, what? That doesn't mean anything.
Yesterday was the past. Today is the present. Tomorrow is tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow is the future. Just say, I like that.
Oh, that's just good. Tomorrow is the future.
Just something like so meaning nothing. Yesterday is the past. That's why we call it that.
Yesterday is
because it's past.
Yesterday is the past. That's why we call it yesterday.
That's I like that one. Oh boy.
But Claire, if you follow Claire Bear, Claire posts every day on Instagram motivational quotes. Yeah. And she's been doing that for a long time. So
does anyone actually ever read them?
If I'm on the toilet, I will sometimes.
I went on her story and I clicked through
you're clicking
every single one until I got to something of substance.
Sometimes I will pause.
I mean, if people post, Claire posts like 12 in a row.
Yeah. No,
like if you post one, I will read it.
Yeah, because you're like,
it's a mid-year story.
Yeah, sure. But when you post
Claire
12 in a row,
basically a chapter.
But
on
what I'm
each
saying though
day.
is then it's like, okay, Dale, this is her type. She likes that.
But is Dale just hoping to be a quote on her story? I know. I thought so.
You should use that one.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, let's get to the cocktail party. She starts with Bennett. She looks really good in that sparkly yellow dress.
She looks so good.
I actually really like it. Not a lot of people could pull off a dress like that. I don't think.
No, and
you could actually.
Oh my God, thank you.
Yeah.
She's pissed, by the way. She is not happy that the men's were coming for her man.
Okay, I know this made her look really bad, but like, I kind of think I might do the same thing.
Yes, because you're already in love with someone, and all the guys were saying shit that was like, "Oh, you're
really aggressive.
You're not here for Claire.
Really,
you won't stop talking." I'd be like, "Tell me more about Dale behind the scenes."
Yeah,
I think I'm in love with him.
Every single guy you'd be asking that.
Yeah, for sure. But I actually probably wouldn't. Because I'd be thinking about what it would look like. I would ask one or two of the guys. I would have asked Bennett because he went really hard. I'd be like, so question for you. When you say he's not there for me, what makes you think that?
Okay, now here's the thing though. How many guys are there total? Now, 15? 12?
Yeah. 15, I think.
There's like over a dozen or around that, right?
Yeah.
I think that they could edit it. All she has to do is ask 4 guys, right? Which 5 guys, which in the scheme of things is a third. Kind of a lot, but kind of not.
No, but this is the group date. So it's a smaller group of men.
Oh, you're right.
Asked
Sorry.
everybody.
Okay, I was getting confused with like cocktail party before rose ceremony.
Because the last one they didn't have the date. It's all confusing. And then all the guys were there on this date, which was weird. But the cocktail party was just the guys who were roasters.
Okay, that's kind of cringe because he's not even technically like on that date in that group.
She definitely like asked all of them. She's obsessed with him. She is a falling in love with Dale. Dalekins is her king. Well, and then you know what's even more embarrassing about this situation is she wasn't only trying to find out, this was the major issue. She wasn't just trying to find out the tea about Dale. Then when someone said the thing about him making the best suited comment, it then got to the point where she was like fishing to see if he had said good things about her because she's in love with him. Mm-hmm. Like, wait, Dale said he was best suited to... When did he say that? Mm-hmm. Why? What was the context of when he said that he was best suited for me? Yeah. Like, was he talking about me? Like, did he mention what I was wearing? Oh my God, Becca. Oh my God, you're nailing. I fully forgot. It wasn't. It wasn't
her asking about if Dale was a bad guy.
Yes, it was questions of like, tell me more about what Dale says about
me.
Yes. Does he
about
think
our
I'm
relationship?
Cute? Does he write his name in my journal or my name in his journal too? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that made it
like, how
cringe.
much does he talk about me, though?
Yeah, that made it way more cringe. Yeah, I felt really...
Because she was literally like, what was the context of him saying that he was...
Yeah, and if I was one of the guys, I would be so peeved. I would just be like, listen, because this is only the 3rd week, and there's been tons of interruptions.
She just spent an hour with him the night before.
Spent an hour with him. There's been so many interruptions already in the first 3, episodes that we've seen. Most of these guys haven't spoken they've spoken to her for one grand total of like 10 minutes. And so it's like, I'm finally sitting down to talk to you and you're like, so when Dale said he's best suited for me, does he also say that I have a great rack?
She was absolutely. And then she was also trying to sort of defend him too, where she was like,
yeah, bless you.
Where like they'd say something about him and it was almost like she was about to say, well, is that really what he meant? Mm-hmm. Like, do you really? And that was just, oh
no.
And then she was saying, because she was saying to them, like, you guys really went for him. Like, you went for him kind of hard. Do you think that was okay to talk about him like that in front of me? Like, it was
it wasn't great. And the producers are like, yes, keep asking them.
Also, I said that Brendan.
I am so attracted to Brendan.
That's what I was about to say. I said the only hot one was Dale, and then I was like, wait, I'm sorry. Sexy.
Can we remember how the first week I said Brendan's hot, but his energy was weird? I lived for his energy in this date. He was like in a turtleneck. He was looking so fine. All of a sudden, Mr. Brendan was very acting very confident. Also,
he's very cute.
Also, the only one to say to Claire, I'm not going to remove my underwear on the dodgeball date. That was him where he was like, honey, I love you. I can't do it. She's like, it's okay.
Which I actually thought was like respectful.
I was all about
that. And he didn't throw a big tantrum about it.
He did it quietly YOSEF. And he wasn't comfortable doing it. So he just quietly said no. He didn't he didn't want to do it. He didn't feel peer pressure.
Is it because he has a micro penis? No, I'm just kidding.
he might, but that's the thing. He was confident enough.
Still big dick energy.
That's such big dick energy to be like, you're confident enough. All the other guys are dropping trow. And you're going to say, I'm not comfortable. I'm sorry. For whatever reason.
And not make a big deal about it. Just be like, I'm sorry, I can't. She's like, that's okay. And that's all it had to be.
He's hot.
I like
and you know what he is? He is a roofer. So he works with his hands.
A roofer. That's what I'm saying. Getting down dirty, not like Zach who orders other people around to clean.
Brendan's out there making roofs with his bare hands. He is putting a roof over our heads. He is protecting us. He is taking care of our homes from the elements. He could probably help build a house if you'd be in a desperate apocalyptic situation.
My house hasn't been re-roofed since like 2010.
I don't know,
every
Brendan.
10 years, right? Is when you should get it done, probably.
At Brendan, whatever your social
is.
Deal. Definitely going to start following you.
That would actually be a really smart business angle if he did if it was like a shirtless roofers thing.
Yeah, not a bad vibe.
Not a bad business plan.
Nope. I bet he doesn't.
And they're like kind of far away, so you can still creep on them without it being too weird. It's not like they're redoing your floors, you know? It's like they're on the roof, so then they're safe, you're safe, everything's kosher.
You're fine. And definitely like at one point I'd come out with like a tray of lemonade, be like, hello boys, is it hot up there?
Snacks, refreshments, anyone?
Evan's like, you've never made anything in your life.
No, you'd be pulling out like frozen Trader Joe's bonbons and organizing them on like a silver platter.
Mom's
been slaving over these all day.
What a tepid day outside. I don't know
Dare
how you
I
do it.
say you've been working up sweat. Let me help you with that little dab there.
Can I get you an ice cold Arnold Palmer? Anyways, I am very into Brendan. I'm really hoping that Brendan sticks around for Tayshia because like the way he's dressing. After the first episode, he had that huge bow tie and it was not a good look. Since then, he's been looking sharp. He's been just sexy.
He's been bringing the heat.
He's bringing the heat.
So, yeah, and okay. Blah, blah, blah,
so glad you
where
brought that
are we
up because
at?
I totally would have forgotten about talking about him.
Yeah.
So all the men's are starting to get really irritated. Kenny, who has overall seemed like a jovial chap. He's in general, Kenny's been like, yeah, we're good. He's kind of like chasing, like positive guy. Kenny is now even like, I'm over this.
They're getting pushed to their limits.
Yeah, he's like, it's just been waiting and waiting and waiting, and now I finally get time. She wants to talk about Dale. And I will say though, Bennett then stands up for Claire. Bennett's like, yeah, guys, you know, I don't know. I don't agree with you. It's really early on in the process. She's still figuring it out.
Oh.
And I was just like, Bennett, you redeemed yourself.
Bennett, you naive son of a bitch.
You're naive, but you redeemed.
What was I trying to say here in my notes? I said, and then after all that's Bennett saying, which is probably what you just said, it's not a done deal between. Oh, yeah. So, and then she decides to not give out a rose. Surprise, surprise.
Okay. Now, this is one of those moments.
She's like, actually, I won't be giving out any more roses.
This is one of those moments where I'm like, Claire, just give out a damn rose.
Is that a producer thing, though? I think that very well could be as well. I don't want to chalk up everything up to it, but they're like, you seem like you've been having a really rough night, and after all the girl to girl, after all the shit that they talked, like, do you really feel comfortable giving out a rose to any of them?
I definitely could imagine it being like coaxed by producers, like, wow, they're talking a ton of shit on your man.
She still made that choice, though.
But I also see as each minute passes in this episode, Claire hates all the men more and more and is just like, no. As now she's tweaked.
Yeah.
Now I can see where we're having a transition from, you know, how the rumor was all like, oh my God, she's hard to work with, blah, 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 blah. I don't believe she was hard to work with up until maybe about this moment. And I think maybe for the next episode, it's going to be, because now she's done. She's like, y'all pushed me. You're sending in these guys who are grabbing me and yelling at me. I don't want any of the other guys.
Shit on the one guy that I like.
Right, Dale. And you're getting encouraged by production because she's been like happy about her season until she started to watch it. And so they probably are like, we're so happy for you. You're in love. We're so happy for you. You're in love. You're a success story. So now she's probably like, no, I'm done. I'm not going to fucks with these boys no more. I just want to be with Dale.
Okay, so did she call Dale her fiance?
She definitely did.
In that trailer
Yes.
thing? Was it a trailer?
It wasn't. No, it wasn't the
clip
trailer.
at the end of the night.
She was talking and she's like, my fiance and I.
Well, I'm guessing she was probably talking like in hypotheticals, and I'm guessing the soundbite got pulled out of context.
I have to re-listen to that one and see if it's all chopped up.
I think like it might not have been chopped up, though. We might not have seen the beginning part of the conversation where she'd been like, if I was engaged to him.
Yes.
And like they were talking about him like that. And that's someone I'm going to get engaged to. Like I wouldn't want my fiance, you know.
I could also see Claire at this point being like, my fiance would never. Like she reminds me of one of my best friends growing up who, you know, God bless, would go out on a date, a couple dates and be like, we're married. And I'm definitely feeling that right now.
Yeah.
And so when all the guys are talking shit and she doesn't like any of them anymore because she's dealing with a bunch of, not all of them, some of them seem lovely, but a chunk of these assholes too. She's like, no, that's my fiance. Everybody can go on home. And then after
yourselves.
the Deanna conversation where Deanna's like, when you know, and she's getting encouraged by all this stuff. But when she didn't give the rose out, Becca, I was just like, listen, girl, you have to give the rose out. Please.
Okay.
If anyone, you could have just given it to Ben and been like, you know what? I couldn't make a choice, so I'm going to give it to my favorite roaster. and give it to Ben.
Sure.
Or Jordan.
Sure. Yeah,
I
I get
don't
what you're
know.
saying.
Pick somebody.
I really, not to divert too much, but I really need someone to say how many episodes we each bet that it was going to be.
You were right.
I think I was.
You fucking...
I said 4.
You
didn't
nailed it. And I owe you cold hard cash now.
How much money?
I don't know. We never talked about it.
Fuck.
You could have gotten a lot of money out of me.
Damn. Yeah, I said. Did I say 4 episodes?
You said 4 and I said 6, and you to the episode got it.
So we see the trailer of Tayshia coming. I mean, we see all of the shit transpiring that we're going to see next week.
I'm very curious what this is going to look like, because I think it was definitely, this trailer was edited a certain way to make it look like she left and Dale's pacing around like she just left. My question is, there's a chance that she doesn't leave with Dale.
Yeah. No, I think so too.
There's a chance that maybe she's like, I'm done with this. She's like, I want to talk to Dale. Can we leave this and start dating? And maybe have it not be an engagement.
You also got to wonder if
situation.
someone's going to like drop some tea on Dale. And then she's going to be like, what the fuck?
Well, they said there's that clip of one of the guys being like, so you're a liar.
Oh, yeah.
But that could literally
I know.
be anything at this point. They're just trying to get us with any little thing. But then, yes, we see
Tayshia
emerge from the waters with her perfect boobs. I miss those. You know how I'm obsessed.
The tits were out and they were not playing and they looked so good.
Tayshia is just an actual goddess on earth, and she emerges from the waters, and I felt like I was being rebaptized in The Bachelor.
I'm not gonna lie, it makes me just bummed out. I'm really excited for Tayshia's season.
Thrilled.
It just is, it's a sort of like a damper on the party that it had to happen like this.
I know.
It's really fucked up to Clare.
I know.
I really think it is. I know she hasn't been the best Bachelorette, but she's been playing within some pretty iffy circumstances, and I just like feel bad.
I just feel bad too, because she got this opportunity and it was like this huge deal that it came years after her season aired, and then it kind of is like, I think she's not going to get a great reputation.
It's like literally a 3-part like TV special, like a GOAT episode basically.
Yeah, that's what
it's an extended GOAT episode.
And now we're going to get Tayshia. Now, trust me, I think we're going to have a hell of a good season. Tayshia, I keep thinking about Paradise, and Tayshia is like, she's fun. I think we're finally gonna have fun.
Yeah.
Tayshia's fun. She likes to have a good time. She likes to laugh.
I think she's going to be playing it up with all the guys. You know, we're going to see the opposite of
remember
what
she used to call herself Flirtatia?
Oh yeah, we're going to have the opposite of the energy we've gotten with Clare, and it's just going to be fun. It's going to keep us on our toes. Yeah. We're not going to know who she's into the most, that kind of thing, I think.
And I do think we need that right now in the current times.
And how fun for us to be able to finally have a season where we get to guess and figure out what's going to happen.
Yes. And Tayshia is, I'm very curious to see what men we're going to get. Who are they going to bring back for her? How many are they going to bring
Brendan.
back? Crossing my fingers for Brendan.
Even though I don't really see them together, but
no.
I see him more with me.
I see him more on my roof. As my second husband.
Yes.
But I'm hoping Bennett's there to get that JPJ energy. I think that Bennett, I think Bennett and Tayshia will have a ball together. I think she's going to think she won't be into him, but I think she'll think he's hilarious. And they'll have like a great time getting facials and all that stuff.
I think you're right.
But I can't wait. And I think that we are about to we are recording this episode after the show. It's going to now drop on, it's Wednesday morning or whenever you're listening to it. I think in the next couple days, we are going to be served some serious, serious tea via Clare. I think Clare is chomping at the bits to try to explain her story.
Hopefully she doesn't get sued.
I know. I'm
like
really
Luke.
hoping for her. Yep.
I will definitely go ham if she got sued for speaking out about something.
You'll call in the troops.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Good call.
Mobilize. Okay.
Anyways,
that's a wrap.
That is a
Great
wrap. Broads, we will chat on Friday.
Yes.
Friday.
Such a fun Halloween episode.
I know. With Roz Dressfilez. I talk about some spooky shit that's been happening in my home.
Yes.
Also, just a heads up, because next week is going to be a different type of week. So next week is election week.
Yeah, fun
times. And so The Bachelor is not going to be airing on Tuesday night. Bachelorette will be airing on Thursday night. So our recap will be coming out on Friday. And then our first episode of the week is going to be our anti-racism episode. And I believe that will come out on Election Day. Something to listen to as the day proceeds, not the day after, because we're not going to know the results. So we don't want to post that and not know what's going on and all that. Yeah.
Fun.
So anyways, all right. Godspeed.
Chat soon.
Chat soon, broads.